This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
with Tony Bruschi.
Mark Tinsley is still with us. We're talking the Murdaugh universe. It's almost like the Marvel universe, but like in a real twisted, dark way in South Carolina's low country. Mark, thank you for continuing to chat with us. I want to talk about some of the financial crimes. I know you're involved representing Arthur Badger with all of this and what he had stolen from him through these alleged crimes of Alec Murdaugh and the people within Palmetto State Bank. Can you back this up to the beginning of Arthur Badger's story and kind of give us some perspective on what exactly went down?
So, Arthur, there were two cases. Arthur Badger had his own personal injury case, and then Arthur Badger's wife had a wrongful death claim. She died in a crash, which Arthur was also injured. Alec was indicted for stealing 1.36. It's 1.325, and then Russell Lafitte, who was then, I think he was just the president of the bank, Palmetto State Bank, and he took $35,000 out of Arthur Badger's personal account or personal injury recovery as a fee for serving as the personal representative. And Russell was indicted and then convicted of bank fraud and conspiracy as it related to Arthur Badger in November of last year. Yeah.
So he took all that money out as a personal representative. This was the president of the bank taking that money out, and he was saying he was a representative, or he was taking that as a fee for someone else?
So I have sued Russell Lafitte, and I've sued Alec for the Badger family, and I've also sued Palmetto State Bank. So there's some things I can talk about and some things I can't.
Sure.
But we have alleged that there was a conspiracy to steal the money, and so Russell was helping Alec steal the money, and that $35,000 is alleged to have been a fee for helping with that. Now, he was convicted of bank fraud in part due to that $35,000. I mean, the way the element sort of broke down was $1,000 from the bank, and so when they laid out the elements in the closing argument, they basically said that he didn't tell the bank officials, the board, that the $680,000 included his $35,000 fee or money to one of Alec's partners. And so that's how they convicted him on the bank fraud.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So this was a big surprise to the family, where this extra $35,000 was suddenly missing from what they thought they were going to be getting.
Well, you know what? I mean, yes. I mean, what Alec would do is Alec would, and there are a couple of charges for computer fraud. But what Alec would do is, he would come with you and say, this is what you're getting. Then he would change the numbers on the first page and provide you with a different document than what was ultimately the document. So on the written disbursement sheet for Arthur, it showed $1,325,000 being paid to Palmetto State Bank to purchase an annuity. Well, Palmetto State Bank didn't do that, and then they broke those funds out in money orders over a period of time afterwards.
Okay, so it was it was done strategically, so the family really slowly maybe wouldn't know, because it's just the minutia of all of that. How long do you feel, or can you talk about the scheme here with Alec and the bank? How far back does this go? Obviously, we've been talking about some of the more recent things that have happened, due to the murders and the financial crimes that have come to light. But does this go back, and are we going to be finding more and more evidence of wrongdoing and bad acts far beyond just what we've been talking about in the last couple of years with Alec and his interactions with the bank?
Well, the Badger case, for instance, I mean, that money is stolen in 2012 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Plyler case, which was in 2011. I think Hakeem Pinckney was about that same time period. I've seen cases as back as far as 2008, 9. Some of those are smaller. Alex stealing was always an evolution until more recently, 2018, 19, maybe as late as he has refined it by 2015 when they have the fake forged account begins to occur. And so, but he had a long-standing relationship with the bank.
Yeah.
And they've testified about that. And they claim that nobody knew, or nobody but Alec knew, or maybe nobody but Alec and Russell knew, or maybe at times Russell's father knew parts. Russell's father was the chairman of the board.
Yeah.
At different points in time. So, there's a lot of things to be discovered yet. I mean, I have my theories. I have my arguments. I think that the documents support the claims that we've made, but time will tell.
Yeah, without a doubt. This is just speculation, and I want to ask this because you're there and you see these things far more closely than anyone outside does. There is obviously other members of the Murdaugh family, and I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about some of the brothers and such. We saw one of the brothers on the scene, for example, of the Stephen Smith accident scene or murder scene, or where his body was dropped, whatever we're going to call that scene. Shortly after it, taking pictures. They were there. They were not representing they weren't representing the victims. They weren't representing anybody at that moment in time. Does this go deeper? Are there more things to be looked at within that family, in your opinion, if you can comment on it? Are we just starting the tip of the iceberg on some of the wrongdoings that may have been running rampant in this family as a whole for many years? Do you feel that there's more to be looked at?
Well, I don't know. There is so much rumor and speculation about who was where, who was involved in what. And I mean, for instance, I know that I have heard that Randy was at the scene, but I have also come to know that there is no witness that says Randy was at the scene. I mean, it was even told to me that Sandy Smith, it wasn't Sandy Smith that knew that, it was Stephen's father, who's since deceased.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence that anybody was there.
Maybe you can shed some light on this, maybe not, I'm not sure. But do you feel that there are more Murdaughs that have some rather shady dealings going on, or no more than they're talking about as of right now, that could shed some light onto some of these other crimes?
I don't know the answer to that. Honestly, I don't. Randy came out with, I think, in an interview with the New York Times, and seemed to speculate that Alec knew more than he was saying about the murders. And I don't really know, and I probably shouldn't speculate. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Who knows what? It's such a quagmire and such a mess. It's really hard to know. I think that Randy has helped a lot of people. Randy obviously knows a lot of people, but my experience and my belief is that Randy's a good guy.
Yeah.
Randy wouldn't do anything. I don't really know John Marvin except in the handling of the receiver matters as it related to Alec's assets and his involvement as the PR of Maggie's estate after she died.
Is the family of Alec still supporting him, or are a lot of them, is it just obviously in their best interest at this point, would likely to not even have the last name Murdaugh. But are they still standing behind a belief that he is innocent?
I have no idea. I mean, I could speculate like you from watching the trial, who does and who doesn't, but no, I don't know.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Bruschi.
Mark Tinsley, thank you for joining us and giving us your exclusive insight into what's going on there in South Carolina's Low Country with the many cases still going on against Alec Murdaugh. Be sure to press subscribe wherever you download podcasts so you don't miss any of the breaking updates or discussions that we have for you right here. Get an ad-free experience through Apple Podcasts as well. My name's Tony Bruschi. Stay with us.